Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for attending the extraordinary meeting of the Strategy and Resources Policy Committee. The meeting today is open to the public. We've not received any public questions or petitions by the deadline. Please can I request that mobile telephones and other such equipment are switched to silent mode so as not to disturb the conduct to this meeting. There is no fire test planned for today. If there is an emergency evacuation, please take instructions from the Town Hall staff. The assembly point is Tudor Square. My name is Councillor Terry Fox. I'm the leader of the council, and I'm also the chair of Strategy and Resources. I'll now just ask members to introduce themselves, then officers, and then presenting officers. If you can introduce yourselves when we get to the report. Thank you. Okay, Richard.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Richard Williams, a member for Stannington Ward and Chair of Communities, Parks and Leisure Policy Committee.
Thank you, Martin.
Yeah, Martin Smith, representing Doran Totley Ward. I'm also Chair of the Economic Development and Skills Committee.
Thanks, Martin. Shafak.
Sheffield Mohammed, Ecclesall Ward.
Thanks, Shafak. Joe.
Councillor Joe Watson, Doran Totley, Chair of Waste and Street Team.
Joe. Brian.
Councillor Brian Lodge from Burley Ward, Co-Chair of the Finance Subcommittee.
Dawn.
Thank you. Councillor Dawn Dale, member for Shire Green and Brightside and co-chair of Education, Children and Families.
Thanks, Dawn. Julie.
Good afternoon, Councillor Julie Grocutt, member for Stocksbridge Upper Don Ward and the co-chair of Transport, Regeneration and Climate Policy Committee.
Thanks, Julie. Douglas.
Yeah, Douglas Johnson, Chair of Housing.
Thank you, Angela.
Angela Argenzio, Broomhill and Sharrow Vale and co-chair of the Adult Health and Social Care Policy Committee.
Thanks, Angela. James.
James Henderson, Director of Policy Performance and Communications.
Thank you. Kate.
Kate Joseph, Chief Executive.
David.
David Hollis, Interim Director of Legal and Governance.
Craig.
Craig Rogerson, Democratic Services.
Thanks, everybody, for introducing yourselves. Before I go on, is there any apologies for absence?
Yes, Chair, I've received apologies for absence from Councillor Paul Wood.
Thank you. Any exclusion of public and press?
None, Chair.
Any declarations of interest which we would normally make on the budget day? Is there any? No? Okay, thank you. Next item is public questions and petitions. There's none being submitted to discuss. Before we just go to item 6, which is the revenue, budget and capital programme, can I just personally thank officers for the work that they've put in, and also to members, yourselves as chairs of those committees. I honestly, at the beginning of this, thought we would not get to a situation, certainly at today's meeting, to get ourselves in a position to present this budget. I really want to put on record, thank you to yourselves for all the work that you've put in, your groups as well, for getting us to this position that we hopefully will be able to agree to present this to the Budget Council on the 1st of March. So if you can just note those for me, we much appreciated. Right, we'll go straight into the Revenue, Budget and Capital Programme 23-24. Can you introduce yourself, Tony and Liz, and then we'll take the report.
Tony Kirkman, Director of Finance, Chair.
Liz Goff, Head of Finance Business Partnering.
Thank you, Chair. If I could just briefly introduce the item. As you said in your intro, this is the culmination of a significant amount of work undertaken within the committees, and we have brought it together in relation to the revenue and capital budget as set out within the documents. There is a recommended council tax increase in there, which brings an overall balanced position for the council, should it approve a 2.9% increase in council tax and adult social care precept of 2%. As an addendum, Chair, you have also received, after yesterday's meeting of the South Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Authority, the precepts which they have agreed, which we will include within any documents which go on to full council. So, Chair, these papers are here for you to consider. and hopefully to recommend to full council on the 1st of March. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody should have the supplement in front of them, item 6. Thank you for that. Tony, is there any questions or comments? And I am acutely aware of how long we have been going around this budget, but if there aren't any questions or comments then, Martin?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It's more around terminology. Forgive me, not a finance person, but it's around the borrowing, the capital side of things. So I'm specifically looking at page 113, but it's the terminology. I'm just wondering if you can aid my understanding. We've spoken a lot in committees and in this forum as well around money's tight, but then there's a bit at the top of that page, it talks about the council's got a strong cash position, and how can we have a strong cash position if we're short on money? I don't quite understand that. I'm sure there's a good explanation, but and the other bit is under borrowed. So we yeah, 1.6 billion is quite a lot of money. So could you just sort of give us a bit more background to that as to what under borrowed means? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Two things actually sort of fit together within the overall budget and accounts of the council. We have cash balances because of items on the balance sheet, such as reserves. We also have cash balances at any one point in time in relation to things such as government grants, which we receive in advance. So that creates cash balances, which we, through your treasury management strategy, are vesting appropriately on short-term sort of basis to maximise within the risk profile a level of return which we can receive in relation to those. As part of your capital programme and the items which you have approved through your various different committees over the years, you have set out a level of borrowing which you would take to undertake those schemes. That is then set again within your treasury management strategy, which would be shared with full council. And what that's saying is the borrowing levels you approved, we haven't actually needed to take all of that borrowing at any one point in time because we have cash balances. So given the liquidity within the council's finances, it's cheaper to use those cash balances as an offset rather than actually go to the market and borrow. Does that help?
Thank you.
Thanks for clearing that up, sorry. Thanks, Martin. Okay, is there any other questions, comment? Brian?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I think I just want to echo what you said at the start there. Thank you to officers and thank you to everybody in the committees and the chairs of the committees. When we set out on this road at the start of the year, I don't think any of us anticipated that we'd be sitting here now with a balanced budget that we can put forward where we've not had to use reserves after last year and previous years where we've faced issues in using reserves. I think the work that's gone on by everybody involved in setting the budget, from the work through the committees, from the officers that come through and given us the information when we've asked for it in the committees, it's shown that in spite of the difficulties that we've gone through, we're delivering a balanced budget and we're still trying to deliver the best that we can, and all of us, 84 councillors, are always trying to do the best that we can for the city. We may have differences of opinion about how we deliver that, but none of us want to do a bad job. I think it's also worth noting that in spite of all this, we are, and the difficulties we're facing and the economy and everything there, we are still investing in the city, in capital, and looking to develop the city and to develop things going forward. And we've got an extensive capital programme that still sees investment going on. And it's good news for the city that we can continue to do this. We are having to be conscious of the monies and the costs around, but I think, you know, the message out there is that we are all still moving forward and we have got ambition for the city, and we want to see things develop and improve. So it's just repeating that. Thanks, Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Angela?
Yeah, I just wanted to echo that from our group as well, and just my experience as a co-chair and working with my co-chair who's Labour and deputy and the rest of the group has been amazing how people are really pulled together with the officers, and the the time and the effort and the hours that have gone in. And I think it's something that we need to remember that we've not had before, and it's the first year where we are here and we're not arguing and we're just working together. And particularly for us in adults and in children, where there were some really challenging things to look at, we've worked very closely to get the best outcomes we possibly can. So the culture is changing in the council. People just need to be a bit patient for us to get to a point where we always find a consensus.
Thank you, and well said, Angela. Okay, if there's no more questions, comments, we've got the recommendations in front of us to recommend to the full council. Can we agree those? Agreed? Thank you. Anybody against? If not, thank you, and thanks everybody for today's meeting. I look forward. You certainly can. David?
Members may recall that at a previous CMT, I outlined the possibility that when the matter goes to full council, we'd have a delegation to the relevant directors to approve increases of fees and charges that are outlined in Appendix 2 of this report, where they've already been through the policy committees and agreed in principle as part of the budget saving. We are going to include that in the papers that go out to full council tonight. I just wanted to make sure that members were still okay with that going in.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everyone. Thank you, David, and once again, thank you everybody for today's meeting. I look forward to seeing you on the 1st of March when the amendments come in. Thank you. Bye.